Call of Duty. God, last night it went from I couldn't hear shit to, oh my god, my ears are bleeding, to I can't hear shit.
Yeah, I do it all the time because mine have the 2 switches, and I always turn one down.
My problem is both of my rollers are all the way back here, and when I'm sitting on the couch, if I turn my head, it'll roll one of the rollers.
Well, last night there was a lot of, what the fuck, what the
Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Uncivilized-Investigations. It is February. We've got 1 month down out of this year so far. How's your year going so far, Dave?
11 more to go.
11 more years or 11 more months?
Yes.
Yes.
We're rolling the dice for 2027 already.
So tonight I've got a very interesting case, kind of like it's out of a horror movie. As a
I already don't want to be a part of this one.
Have to bear with me, my throat's a little off today. But let's dive right in. Danny LaPlante was born on May 15th, 1970 in Townsend, Massachusetts. A lot of our stories are yeah. His early life was very unstable from the start. His parents got divorced when he was young, leaving his mother to raise him alone for a time. She then remarried and had 2 more sons, but his psychological damage was already done.
Was there like abuse in the...
He claims he was subjected to repeated sexual and psychological abuse by multiple adults in his life, including his father, stepfather, and even a psychiatrist. It doesn't say why he was seeing a psychiatrist, but what you'll find out later is it didn't help.
From what you've told me, he needed to be seeing one.
Yeah. According to LaPlante, his biological father was responsible for the majority of the abuse. These claims were never fully substantiated, but they became a central part of how LaPlante later explained his behavior. At this point, I don't think I would believe anything the dude says.
Does he ever actually explain his behavior?
He kind of does a Manson thing where he says, I am a much better person, please let me out. And they're like, yeah, no.
Oh, good.
He attended elementary school in Townsend before enrolling at St. Bernard's High School in Fitchburg. On paper, he looked normal. He played football, he ran track, but he struggled academically. He was diagnosed with dyslexia, learning disabilities, and attention deficit disorder. So school wasn't very easy for him, and socially, he was very awkward. He was kind of the butt of jokes in school. The classmates described him as creepy and weird. Teachers described him as withdrawn and unsettling.
Oh.
His neighbors openly referred to him as disturbed.
Oh, so he's just a stellar citizen.
Hygiene was an issue for him. His appearance was unkempt, and his behavior was erratic. It almost sounds like he may have been, like, on the spectrum, but this is back in the 70s when the spectrum didn't really exist.
Well, this would have been 80s, late 80s, wouldn't he?
70s. Well, yeah.
Born in the 70s.
Yeah. So 70s, 80s, I feel like he was...
He might have been, but that doesn't explain the behavior.
True. As a teenager, he was referred to as a psychiatrist and diagnosed with a hyperactivity disorder, but none of the treatments they tried worked, clearly.
Sedatives? Like, please?
By his early teens, he had already crossed the line. He began as a petty thief, sneaking into properties around Townsend at night and stealing small valuables. It didn't stay theft for long. As his confidence grew, so did his need to interact with his victims without being seen. By age 15, he was breaking into homes not just to steal, but to leave signs. He would move objects. One of the things was, like, he would hide TV remotes.
Oh, he's a real asshole.
He'd rearrange furniture. Personal belongings would be moved, like drawers swapped and stuff like that.
Oh, this dude would piss me off royally.
Enough to be noticed, but not enough for them to go, oh my god, somebody was in here, we have to call the police. Because, like, do you call the cops every time you can't find your remote? If I did, the cops would just live at my house, because I can never find my remote.
But to, like, if he's rearranging things, at what point's like, hey, somebody's been here?
I think he would do small things, like he'd move a lamp or he would move a house plant.
Give me 5 minutes alone with this bastard, alright?
He was the one that would just twist the coffee table
Just
just enough that you'd stub your toe on it in the middle of the night.
5 minutes, turn the cameras off.
But it got to the point where he stopped actually stealing, and he just started fucking with people. He wasn't taking anything anymore. He was just doing these small little things.
God, that would piss me off.
Yep.
Royally. Just every day come in and just turn it.
So in 1986, he set in motion a series of events that would make his name infamous. The Thing's horror story. Literally, I've seen a movie about this. Somehow he obtained the phone number of a local family, a father and his 2 daughters. Tina was 15 and Karen was 9. Their last name was Bowen. Somehow he got the number, but it was never confirmed how. It is a very widely held belief that he had already been inside the house at least once, and that's how he acquired the number. So he broke in to screw with them, got the phone number, realized they had 2 girls, and became interested.
And then continue to screw with them, or did it get worse?
He began calling the girls and introduced himself as someone who he definitely wasn't. He described himself as a good-looking, athletic, well-educated blonde boy who attended a nearby school, which is not even remotely true. I think he described who he wanted to be.
Okay.
Over multiple phone calls, over multiple weeks, Tina grew very comfortable with him, and eventually she agreed to go on a date with him, sight unseen.
So she has a terrible judgment as well.
Well, I mean, he's telling her the perfect story. He was catfishing her.
I got property in Florida. You want to buy that too?
So when LaPlante showed up at the Bowen house, things got weird right away because Tina discovered that this handsome blonde athletic boy was not the kid on the doorstep. In fact, he was the complete opposite. Disheveled, greasy-haired, and a little bit older than what he had said. However, she agreed to go on the date anyway.
I'm so glad I don't have that.
However, the date lasted barely an hour. Apparently, during that short time, LaPlante learned something crucial. The girl's mother had recently died of cancer, and their father, Frank, was now raising them alone. Tina later said that LaPlante fixated on the details of her mother's death, how much she suffered, what her final moments were like, and how Tina felt the moment her mom died. Far from beyond normal and very creepy and weird.
That's like... That's not right.
So then her friends got word. I guess she went to school. She was talking about this weird kid she hung out with. And apparently some of her friends knew him and warned her that he had been accused of rape and that she should cut off all ties with him, which she didn't really have to be urged to do. She was already ignoring him. And after that, she continued. Oh, he called her again to ask to take her out again multiple times. And she just ignored him completely. Didn't return phone calls.
So he was accused of it. Did he ever act?
Never. I don't. Okay. That may have just been a rumor because there's nothing in his rap sheet that says rape.
15, 16 years old. That's...
Yeah. I think it was just that he's that creepy weird kid.
Yeah.
But that should have been the end of it. However, he didn't let it go. A few days later, Tina and Karen, her sister, were young and left home alone for long periods of time as their widowed father tried to make ends meet. He was working 2 jobs. He was always gone. But he figured 15 years old is old enough for her to be home and taking care of her.
9, so it's kind of old enough to not fend for themselves. But
yeah. But being young and dumb, they decided to get out a Ouija board and hold a seance in their basement to see if they could talk to their deceased mother.
Clearly they don't watch movies or anything.
Tina said they really didn't expect it to work. It was more of a ha-ha thing. However, during their seance, nothing happened, and they packed it away and put it away. Later that night, however, they began to hear rhythmic knocking on their bedroom walls.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Eventually, they convinced themselves that the seance had actually worked, and the knocking was the spirit of their dead mother attempting to communicate. For that entire night, and many nights to come, they would lay awake and ask their mom questions to which they would receive knocks as answers. After a few weeks of this communication, they started noticing odd occurrences around their house. Objects disappearing, furniture slightly moved, food, and one was a gallon of milk gone, food eaten, And then events ramped up after a year. A bathtub was filled with urine. A jar of pennies was used to make a trail on the floors of the house. Rooms would be completely rearranged. So this has gone on for a year now.
Yeah.
Flash forward a whole year of this weird... It started small and gradually got...
Why do all of yours end up with burn the house down?
So the girls... Their father was blaming them for it. Thinking that they were going through something...
Put a bathtub full of piss?
The girls confided in their father, who attributed it to his being at work all the time and the grief over the loss of their mother. He accused the daughters of committing the chaos themselves for attention. Meanwhile, the girls are thinking that there's an evil entity haunting their house that they asked to come in with the Ouija board. The girls insisted that it was the ghost of their mother or an evil spirit, and their father forced them to go to therapy.
I mean, from the outside looking in, I would never suspect what's happening is happening.
Then the tone shifted from weird to threatening. January of 1987, the girls were home alone again and heard louder, more persistent knocking. Eventually, they pulled up their courage. Tina grabbed a knife from the kitchen block, and they followed the knocking down to the basement. At the bottom of the basement steps, they both shrieked in horror and ran out of the house to a neighbor's house where they told them the entire story. What they found was a message written in what looked like blood stating, "I'm in your room, come and find me."
Burn it down again.
The neighbor called their father, not the cops, their father, and he came home from work and again accused the girls of writing the message themselves, and he sent them back to therapy.
Did he look for like wounds, like find out if they were bleeding?
Another few weeks go by with the knocking and things moving until the day the girls got home from school and their toilet had been used and not flushed.
Oh, he's a real asshole.
The girls yet again ran to a neighbor's house, and the neighbor yet again called their father, who had to leave work and come home. This time, Frank came home he was pissed.
Yeah.
He's got it in his head that his girls are doing this, and now he's missing work. He's already struggling to make ends meet, and now they keep... First of all, the neighbors are starting to think he's crazy, or they're crazy. He's paying for therapy, and his girls just keep coming up with this new ghost bullshit. So he comes home, and this time, to prove that there's nobody in the house, him and the girls both go into the house. Frank discovered a lot of disarray. Apparently, like, furniture was tipped over, all kinds of stuff. They go up to Tina's bedroom, and there's another message written in what looks like blood, and it says, "Marry me."
On Tina's bedroom. It's like 15, 16 years. Okay.
And that's when he sees him emerging from Tina's wardrobe. A young boy dressed in his dead wife's clothing, makeup, a blonde wig, a dress, everything. Like, he had lips. There's a picture. He had lipstick on.
Gunshots.
He also had a hatchet.
Mag dump.
Also had a hatchet. It was Danny LaPlante. Frank yelled for his girls to run into the master bedroom and lock the door. Frank and the girls entered the bedroom, and the plant locked them in.
Oh, shit.
However, Tina was able to crawl out a window and again run to the neighbor's house, and this time the neighbors called the cops. But when the cops got there, LaPlante was gone. Like he had just vanished.
Were the father and other daughter okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He never got in.
Okay.
But the cops get there, and they're kind of looking at him like, there's nobody here, dude. But at this point, Frank and the girls moved into a local hotel for a few days. 2 days later, he returned to grab some more of their belongings and saw LaPlante stand. I guess as he got out of his car, he looked up and saw LaPlante standing in the window.
Fucking gunshots, bro.
He then entered the house and saw a message written on the first wall. I guess the wall, like when you walk in, it said, "I'm still here. Come and find me."
Road flare.
So Frank called the police, and they conducted another very thorough search. And this time, they found LaPlante in a corner crawl space of the basement where he had apparently been living for possibly the last year.
Holy shit.
Hidden behind a cupboard was a crawl space tunneled through the walls. The plant had been living inside the house in between the walls for the last year. There were tunnels from each room to other rooms, including bedrooms and bathrooms, and one tunnel opened up behind Tina's wardrobe. Peepholes had been cut through the walls so he could observe Tina from nearly every room.
That's fucked.
Apparently, the whole house had little pinholes that he could just be, like, in the wall, looking out to see what they were doing. And then at night, he would come out and eat their food, rearrange stuff.
Oh, he is a special type of asshole, ain't he?
He was arrested, and he was sentenced to a juvenile facility. However, he stayed there less than a year because in October of 1987, his mother remortgaged her house to pay his $10,000 bail.
Why?
Why she thought this was a good idea escapes my knowledge. I have no idea.
Put him in the walls of the prison.
In November, he stole 2 handguns from a neighbor's home. On December 1st of 1987, LaPlante broke into the Gustafson family home, less than a half a mile from his own home. Inside was Priscilla Gustafson, 33, who was pregnant, and her children Abigail, 8 years old, and William, 5 years old. Priscilla's husband Andrew was at work. When he returned, he found Priscilla raped and executed, shot multiple times at close range. Their children were found drowned in separate bathtubs.
Oh, I'm sure his mother is so happy at her decision to bail him out.
So that was a very brutal escalation on LaPlante's part.
Yeah, I would say.
He fled, triggering a manhunt. He was armed, unpredictable, and dangerous. During the search, he broke into another home, kidnapped a woman in her car, and escaped again until he was spotted and found hiding in a dumpster 48 hours later. A single hair belonging to Abigail Gustafson was found in his sock. It sealed the case. In 1988, Danny LaPlante was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences. In prison, he showed little remorse for decades. He repeatedly sued the courts, including claims that his religious rights as a Satanist were being violated, yet none succeeded. In 2017, during an appeal, LaPlante claimed remorse, saying, "From the depths of my soul, I am sorry." The appeal was denied. He will die in prison. Andrew Gustafson, who lost his entire family, passed away in 2014. Before his death, he reportedly said, "Don't ever let him out. He should rot in prison." And in the end, his wish was granted.
Good.
LaPlante's still alive. He's still in prison. No possibility of parole. He'll die in prison.
God, he looks like an asshole, too.
Yeah. But dude,
fuck that.
A year of somebody living in your walls?
No.
Like, ugh.
No. I mean, move my TV remote, like, that'd be funny once.
Yeah.
A week in a row, I'm finding that person. A year in my house?
Right? Spying on your 15-year-old daughter?
Gunshots.
Burn the house down. With him in it.
The third one you've done now that results in burn the house down. One of which the house actually burnt down.
Yes, they did burn the house down.
That's fucked.
But is that not like a horror movie come to life?
That's nightmares. The whole thing. The fact that his mother would bail him out.
Well, yeah, I feel like she should be held responsible for the ladies and kids' death.
And this was all, he was like, what, 17, 18 at the time of all of this?
Yeah, about. Not even. He was...
Well, he was 16 when he was hiding in the walls.
Yep, so, and then it was less than a year. So say he was 17 when he did all this.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
He was 18 when he was sentenced.
But yeah, that is our... You have anything else to say?
Not after that.
Gonna check your walls when you go upstairs?
Not gonna stay here. Sleep in my truck somewhere. I don't give a shit.
That is our episode for the week. Come back next week to see more. Like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. Find us on our socials. It's Uncivilized-Investigations pretty much on everything.
Interact with us. Give us ideas for more cases we could do. What you'd like to see.
I'm still working on getting some of those police records from a certain DA's office that shall remain nameless until I do the episode about it, but
that's going to be a joy.
They are irritating the ever-loving out of me. And, you know, I just have to ask myself, like, at first I was like, I just want the records. Now I'm asking myself, why are you fighting so hard?
Well, but you got to think about it. Like,
what are they covering up?
Exactly.
That's why I'm trying even harder. Because at first it was just, I'd like to see what's written down. And now it's,
what's not written?
Yeah, what's not there that needs to be there? What am I going to find if I actually win this?
Yeah, because the ring around you're going through with that's...
Yeah. FBI has 15 more days to reply to me.
No, FBI or DA?
FBI.
Oh.
FBI, because I did State Police, FBI, and Lebanon County.
Okay.
DA. FBI has its own set of rules because it's a FOIA request, not a right-to-know request.
Do they have any information on the case?
She's on their missing persons board, so they must have something.
Okay.
They were involved for a little bit, but because it couldn't be considered a kidnapping or anything, It's
I just
a
didn't know how
person.
much.
I don't think they had a lot of involvement.
Because it would
but
basically be the county it was in would have been reaching out.
yeah,
I don't know how that works. If the FBI reaches out, or
the
county
dad was trying to get the FBI involved because he doesn't feel that the local police were doing enough. Which now that I'm hitting all this backlash, I'm starting to agree.
And so the DA would then have to provide information to the FBI.
I also found out, I thought it was going to be easier because it's a new DA, but she's the protege of the DA who passed away.
Oh, so it's going to be like a stone wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've talked to a senator about it, and I've talked to a state rep about it, so I'm not going away.
The sooner they realize that.
I'm going to have to not ever drive through Lebanon County because the police are not going to like me.
Yeah, they're not going to... Yeah. You're going to be on a list for that one.
Yeah. Chief Winters, not to name anybody.
I love how we just not...
Yeah. But, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for watching.